How's it going, everybody? I am Donut, and we are reacting to Jessica Jones, Season 1, Episode 7? 8. I'm not sure on the number. WWJD, What Would Jessica Do? It might be What Would Jesus Do, but I highly doubt it. I think it's just going to be What Would Jessica Do? Or maybe somebody will say it as, and she'll see WWJD, and then someone else will, we'll get both meanings, perhaps. Let's find out. If you want to see the full length, check it out for $8 a month. Get on the Patreon in the description below. Let's get into the episode. Okay, so starting probably for this one and for the future ones, I'm being joined with my fiance.
Hello.
Therma Kitty. I'll put his channel in the description if I remember. I almost never do. So he's just joining me for the discussions. You're not going to be joining me for the reactions or anything like that. But for the discussions, I'm probably gonna. You've already seen the movies and everything, but this is your first time watching Jessica Jones.
Yeah, so completely blind for Jessica Jones, and I'm only caught up to where you are right now.
Yeah, and you knew of the comic, but you haven't read the comic.
Right.
Right. Is there anything else? I mean, don't tell me, obviously, but is there anything else that you know of past this point?
Not for this story. I'm familiar with Kilgrave and Luke Cage and stuff, but, not enough where I could say anything about this plot.
Okay. Alright, so starting off this episode with, just this entirely focusing, I guess not entirely, but I'd say a good chunk, 90% of it. We cut it away occasionally, but it was for very short periods of time. So 90% of the episode, I would say, was about Jessica and Kilgrave together. In the house, her, quote-unquote, trying to make it work in a way. And, yeah, seeing the just dynamic, both of their actors playing off each other so well. Especially with just these other random people that are in the room, just, constantly giving these weird eyes to them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Everything about seeing her room for the first time, I think you can attest to the fact that I listen to Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers weekly. Red Hot Chili Peppers is definitely one of my favorite bands of all time. I talk about them constantly.
You do. You have 14-year-old Jessica Jones's taste.
I do. I have 14-year-old Jessica Jones' music taste, and I have Kilgrave's taste in food, which I don't know what that says in me. Says about me, but I never actually got into Nirvana though. Never actually Nirvana.
Okay.
But I know that's the way bigger thing.
Yeah.
But okay. So the whole thing of Kilgrave potentially being able to be a hero, we know it was all bullshit.
Right.
But if it wasn't, because of the ending with him killing the girl and trying to kill Simpson and his, well, I guess I'm not sure, he would just assume it'd be Simpson,
right?
But yeah, clearly he after that point, still, well, but that would have been before at that point. He might have gone and, well, no, because it has to be 12 hours.
Yeah,
it has to be 12 hours. So it's possible, it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Well, also, we, after the point when they, go out and be heroes, then come back, there's not a whole lot of time where Kilgrave is alone.
Yeah. So it probably was before. I mean, it could have been when Jessica went out for a walk.
True.
Well, I mean, it would have to have been after Simpson came in the house, which that was not this. Was that this episode? Was that this episode?
It was.
Okay. I mean, either way, that was before, this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because that was, so.
Plus, you have to keep in mind his mindset, which we've seen a lot of from last episode and this episode, where in this mindset, I don't think there is a, I don't think he thinks that blowing the woman up and also killing Simpson is evil.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because, again, he would know now, I think, at least he would know what Jessica considers to be
right,
bad or whatever, but after the point in which he did it no matter what because of her saying that to him when they got back. No matter what, that would, unless he literally did it after she went to sleep or something, you know.
Right.
Unless it happened, bang, boom, right immediately happened.
Which could be possible.
Could be possible. But yeah, either way, all that aside, just the general concept of Kilgrave not understanding, like, having really no moral barometer at all. It didn't even cross his mind that what he was doing was not the correct thing to do.
Right.
He was just like, I thought immediately that was just the right thing to do.
Like, I'd say he has a barometer, but it's super out of whack. Because there's that one, you know, when he's talking to the neighbor lady, he does say, you know, isn't that a shitty thing to do? Like,
right, but I think I think there's a difference between having a moral barometer and being annoyed by things or thinking that people are, you know, ascribing personalities to people or whatever. I think there's a difference there. I think they're similar, but like he says, he doesn't have he has a very selective conscience.
Okay. Yeah.
He doesn't really think about, you know, the effects of anything happening, except for when it comes to her.
Yeah.
But so the concept of a Jessica Jones who is completely altruistically good, like I don't want to say more so than any other character, but just by the fact that she said it under mind control is like it is at the core of her person.
Right.
She is a very hero, altruistic good person. To have to stay with a like the most no moral barometer, but not outwardly evil, just like no moral barometer whatsoever kind of sociopath, but can be used as a tool for good,
right?
Ostensibly. Which is exactly what Hogarth, you know, was talking about at the very beginning, and what she's still probably fucking doing with the baby,
right?
Or with the fetus. Again, as I said, my theory with it is, if you know anything about the plot line or anything, just stay silent completely. But my theory is that she's gonna like inject the skin cells into her in some way.
Okay.
Or the stem cells into her, not skin cells. Stem cells into her in some way, and get Kilgrave's ability that way.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's not like she's gonna raise it. It's a fetus, so I don't know what the fuck she could do. I mean, she could maybe do something. I don't know. This is crazier shit has happened.
Sure.
So, whatever. But I don't know. I love this episode is probably my favorite in the whole damn season so far.
I agree.
It's just the concept of and even though that's not what we went with in the end, like she's just like, no, fuck, I'm gonna knock him out and bring him to the hyperbolic
hyperbolic time chamber.
Hyperbolic time chamber. Hermetically sealed tube. Hyperbolic. Yeah. Even that is the better plan to do. To be fair, we have to. Well, no, she already has the evidence. That was the big thing. Like, even if we brought him there, we would still need more evidence on top of that. Because how do you get him to talk to anybody to say anything?
Right.
But we have plenty of evidence now. She has multiple recordings.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, her second one got interrupted. I'm not sure if she ever got that recording or not. But either way, we have the evidence. We're bringing him there. We still got plenty of episodes left, which is crazy. I hope this plan does work. I really commend this show for bringing forth two plans with the prison thing and Trish's thing and making me, like, you know, really unsure as to which one I thought would work out. And even now with the, you know, stick with Kilgrave and use him as a tool for good, that could have potentially worked out. You know, the bombing thing throws a loop at it, but it really depends on when that order was given. Because he could have forgot. It might be a thing of like, oh shit, I forgot I did that.
Right.
So he's totally that character that would, that kind of thing would slip his mind.
Yeah.
So depending on how that works, you know, I don't know if this is the right choice. Because there's so many things that could still go wrong here.
Now, here's a question. Where do you think that Jessica is taking him to the hermetically sealed room, considering that she's also trying to get away from Simpson, who she knows is going to try and kill Kilgrave? Like, that's his room.
Well, where else would she take it? I mean, well, it's not his room.
I mean, he set it up.
Yeah, but it's not his room. Like, he doesn't own it or anything. The building is condemned, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, just in the sense that if she takes Kilgrave there, Simpson would, you know, in her mind, he would also go there, and, you know, she'd have to fight him again.
Yeah, true. But she can get there so much faster than he can.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, but like, it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't know where else she would possibly take him. That, you know, wouldn't, like, where his powers aren't gonna immediately affect her.
Right. It's
like, she's not stupid. She's got to take him there. Even if Simpson's gonna go there, where else is she gonna?
True.
Because she can't kill him either. So, like, what is her option? She's got to put him in the room and then hope that Simpson understands. Because he is a very he bases all his decisions based purely on logic.
Yeah.
Which is not good, because that, you know, creates the whole for the greater good thing, where he doesn't give a shit about Hope. He doesn't really give a shit about any of the other victims who have been charged with crimes of whatever.
Right.
And yeah, he just wants it to end, which is like, it's hard to, you know, in a realistic sense, it's like, well, the fact that he keeps, every single time he keeps getting away, and then more awful shit keeps happening on a big scale, like the police thing could have been so much worse.
I mean,
like, imagine all of Hell's Kitchen's police just getting killed off like that.
Like, it's the first time in the MCU that I think we have the classic supervillain dilemma of, you know, the heroes don't kill the villains, they take them to prison, but inevitably the villain gets out.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in this case, the villain has a power that makes it impossible to keep them locked up.
But I mean, the difference is, though, like, it's not actual prison. We're just, like, you know, capturing him or whatever. Because if he went to prison and then he got out, kill him. At that point, you fucking kill him. It doesn't matter. Right. They know of his existence. They know of his powers. Yeah. We've already solved all that because he's been to prison once.
Right.
So if he breaks out at that point, then whatever. But they're probably going to also, you know, do, I mean, again, just perform a laryngotomy on him. Or not, is that what it's called? Laryngotomy?
I think so.
But yeah, like, just take out his voice box. Like, you know, not them, Jessica Jones. I mean,
right.
When he goes to prison, it's not like they need to, you know, do the shield thing and put on some giant thing over his mouth so he can't move his jaw or whatever. Like, just take out the voice box. We've seen it. They did it in the 40s. Did they lose that technology? But that aside, I am interested to see what they're going to do with Kilgrave if he gets arrested. Like, I hope the show does do something like that and doesn't just put a giant thing over his mouth, which is what they love to do with these villains. Just put a big thing over their mouth. What else do I have here in my notes? The two chefs that Kilgrave had.
Oh yeah.
They must be really, like, okay, we've seen with Scott in Ant-Man, right? He can't get a job, so he has to do this, like, criminal stuff or whatever. That seems a lot better than saying, oh, I can't get a job, so I'm gonna go work for this guy who's paying me double my normal salary, but I have to keep my eyes open for 12 hours, and I have to cut my face off if this woman doesn't arrive. Like, before it was like, okay, they know that they're being controlled to, like, stay here or whatever, like, or like they know they're being threatened, that their life is being threatened if Jessica does something, and they're fine with that, you know, for their salary.
Yeah.
But, like, did they also know that they were gonna have to slice their own faces off?
Oh, certainly
not. Hold their eyes open? Like, at this point, that would be like, I quit. I don't think he would let you, but yeah, they both do seem like they're both just like, oh, Mondays, right? Two chefs for, oh my lord.
Boy. This is not going to be interesting to you, but as you said it, I realized that the scene where he makes them not blink is most likely a reference to a Doctor Who scene. Like, there's a very famous David Tennant's, I guess, extended thing where he does a recording where he tells, like, the character is weak that they cannot blink no matter what, because they will absolutely die the moment they blink. Like, it's this very long speech.
Okay.
So I feel like this was supposed to be like,
Maybe, yeah.
like, you know, you can imagine that he said that to them, and that was a command. And then all we get to see is the aftermath where they can't blink and they know they'll die if they blink.
That's actually really cool. As I said in my reaction, I am excited for when I eventually get to Doctor Who, because I am experiencing David Tennant in the exact opposite way of everybody else on planet Earth, in which I am experiencing first through Jessica Jones, and then through what he is known for in the world and everything else. So I am excited to see him in that, because, you know, I knew of him as just like a big actor, but even plenty of big actors I've seen before, I'm like, yeah, they're I can see why they're a big actor. Like they're a good actor, but like he's an amazing actor. I can see that. There's plenty of actors that I've heard of forever, and I see that I'm like, yeah. What else do I have? I guess just the whole stuff with Kilgrave defending himself and his actions and everything.
I am super interested in that, because like this episode cemented to me that I think the greater theme of Jessica Jones is consent.
Oh yeah, I mean, in every aspect of it, and like even the Jessica giving like Malcolm the choice, like, and Kilgrave giving Malcolm a choice, but she gives him the consent to even making the choice at all, whereas he forces it on him.
Yeah, like I guess that's what I didn't bring up when we were talking about his powers, is that his powers are the definition of non-consensual. Because not only does he make you do something, he makes you think that you wanted it to happen. Yeah. Like, he erases your mental ability to resist, or your mental ability to say, in hindsight, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to justify it to yourself. Like, logically, I guess I didn't want to do it, but I felt like I wanted to.
It is. His ability is just mentally raping every single person he uses his ability on. And that's what I always talk about, too. The worst part of the ability is that it makes you think that you want to do it. And Malcolm put it perfectly in the end of, I think, the previous episode, or it could have been the episode before that. But, you know, where he was talking about, like, yeah, Kilgrave made me do these things. But then after that, you know, because even after it, you had the mentality that you wanted to do it, so you are going to believe that you wanted to, especially if you have no idea what the fuck happened. You don't know what Kilgrave is, you know, all those innocent people.
Like, he explained so many little things about him. Like, the fact that when he first says Jessica, like, when he has the chefs make the meal, he's like, oh, it's your favorite meal. And she immediately responds with, no, it's your favorite meal.
Yeah.
And, like, that's genuine. He did, in the last episode, he genuinely thought that she would look at, what's his name?
Ruben.
At Ruben, dead in his bed, or dead in her bed, and go, oh, that's awesome. I hated this guy.
Yeah, I mean, as he said, like, he's not that insane. Like, he knows, like, it was a gesture of love, but he knows that she's not gonna look at it and go like, oh, that's awesome. Right. But he does it anyway as a, like, you should be looking at this and saying it's awesome. It's a really weird, he knows that the outcome is not gonna be positive, but he does it anyway, hoping the outcome is going to be positive.
Like, I think he just has a very strong filter of himself on the world, where he thinks, like, you know, the way he thinks is correct, and some people aren't going to think his way, but they're not right.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, the main thing that his powers have really twisted in his mind. Like, when you talk to someone and they always agree with you, it's hard to get the idea that, oh, maybe they're the ones who are correct.
Yeah.
Because if I bring in a third party, they're also going to say I'm correct.
Exactly. Yeah. And the only experience he's had before that was, you know, being an experimenter or whatever. So it's not like he's had any period of time of not, like, even though he didn't have his powers at birth, he's never had any period of time in which, like, other than his parents, you know, having an argument with anybody. Like,
it's
between his parents, he might have said, no, stop doing this, blah, 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 whatever. But that's it. And then, like, the one time and then it works, and then he just, yeah. I wonder if he, like, realized he had an ability at first. Or if he, like, he had, with what his parents were doing to him, I assume he knew that they were trying to do something to him.
Yeah. And like his parents,
But his parents seem to still be alive, right? He implied that like an episode or two ago, I believe. Or even in this episode with the Jessica says something like about Hope killing her parents, and he says like, "Oh, I would do it myself willingly,"
right?
But implying like he didn't already.
Yeah.
They could have died of other circumstances, but it does imply that he didn't.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
But yeah, like I do find that scene where he specifically says, you know, "I did not rape you," or like he hates the word rape specifically.
I hate that word.
Yeah. I mean, that is extremely powerful when it's like you're talking to a rape victim. You're a rape victim, and your response is, "I don't like that word."
Yeah, it is the most like it is exactly what I talked about with Dorothy Walker with the characters all sort of just like talking around what is happening, and no one wants to say the word, and then Jessica actually says rape for like the first time in the show. It's been implied that Trish has been raped and she's been raped and everything like that, but like actually saying it for the first time in Kilgrave, I'm like, oh, I hate that word, and knowing that a lot of people in the audience are probably gonna feel the same thing, like, oh, that was unneeded language and blah blah blah. So stupid. But that just the whole scene, like the entire argument was that best part about the episode, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, that or just going into the house and doing that.
The house thing was satisfying, and oh boy, like I think this episode really sold the attractiveness of Kilgrave's powers.
Yeah.
Like it makes you want to justify a way that they can be used correctly. But that's just because it's easy. It feels really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a power fantasy to be able to just walk into a situation like that where a dad's going to murder his whole family and just say, "Nah, don't do it."
Yeah. And like, and you need someone who is good, like Jessica, who is going to be the, okay, now, like, go out there and it should be confess your crimes instead of like a turn yourself in or something like that.
Because like I don't know if I would trust Captain America, who is the goodest of the good in his hearts, with the power to just make anyone do anything.
I mean, that's the thing. I think I wouldn't trust him with that, but the best way to use the power is to just say, let me through for circumstances and confess your crime. Everybody stop. Confess your crimes. That's it. Just that.
Right.
And then let the rest of the system work itself from there.
Yeah.
But I think that is the best use of the power you can have. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's not like we don't have extremely dangerous things that can be abused that we use constantly in the law and in real life.
Yeah.
It's just, boy.
It's a lot. The whole Kilgrave saying that he has to like watch what he says. One, I just love that he uses that as like a like, oh, I raped you, but so what? I have to watch what I say. He's such a fucking bitch, baby. But I do love that as a concept. That it was immediately running through my mind, like, like all the different things that you just say on a daily basis. That if there's so much that like he says, I don't know when someone is doing something because I've told them to do it or because they want to do it. When the answer is never.
Yeah.
If you've said something, never.
Like, it made me rethink about the scene again last episode when he's trying to buy the house and he's so weird about it.
Yeah.
Like, he stops the door and he's like, okay, puts down the bag of money, opens it up, walks back like he's trying to feed an animal. Because I guess realistically, that might be one of the only times his whole life where he's paid for something and he hasn't compelled the person.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, will he say yes? Is that a thing people do? It should be. I gave him exactly twice the market value.
I mean, I don't know though. Do you think he would? Because like then he's gonna be left on the security camera footage and all that stuff doing it. Like, I don't think he's that careful. I mean, he could just say, and also erase the security footage.
Right.
that's such a pain in the ass. Every time you buy anything, just say, I'm going to take this, erase the security footage, everybody in here, you don't know what happened. Like, that's a real pain in the... But...
Yeah, and we know he's actually pretty casual with his public appearances.
Yeah.
Like, he just hangs
really
out.
don't give a shit, yeah. I mean, understandably, he can't be arrested.
Yeah, and he lives in New York, where there's tons and tons and tons of people. Even if he is the guy who wears a purple suit all the time, like, there's probably other people who randomly wear purple suits in New York. It's New York.
Yeah, and aside from that, it's like he doesn't... The only person he's afraid of is Jessica.
Yeah.
Nobody else poses a threat to him at all. Like... If they snipe him or something, but nobody really knows about him.
Yeah.
By the time you are aware of his ability at all, you're done. So, he's fine.
I guess that's everything. Like, he has, for a supervillain, he has very low goals. Like, he doesn't want to take over the world. He doesn't want to, like, destroy countries or anything.
Yeah.
So because of that, he would never be on a really big person's radar. Like, he wouldn't be in the position to get sniped at any point.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, no one's, like... No... People like the cops that ever he tells them that they're gonna just forget everything. I guess Simpson, he was gonna make him kill himself. Yeah. But normally, they make them forget, like, this is all a joke, which essentially makes their mind think that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works specifically, but that's what kind of just go with it, you know?
I mean... That is such an interesting use of his powers, because again, it isn't erasing it. It's just saying this was a big joke, and then allowing the person's mind to fill it in, presumably.
Yeah. Like,
they come up with something that they can believe, and then they just don't think about it.
I mean, can you imagine you were off that day, you come in the next day for your shift, and you're like, oh man, you missed it yesterday. We all pointed our guns at everybody, and this guy took my phone and threw it across the wall. I erased all security footage. It was hilarious.
I mean, again, that's New York cops.
Also, I didn't mention it in the... I meant to, like... I noticed it after the discussion, but Brett Mahoney was the same cop from Daredevil and everything. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, it was. Alright, I think that's all my notes for this episode. Is there anything else you wanted to say about this episode?
Nothing in specific. Just like, you know, we touched on the big, broad themes.
Yeah.
Which is what... I guess that's what I really wanted to talk about. Just that... The series is so thematic. And this is really the point where it all clicked for me. Like, oh, that's what the series is.
Yeah.
Like, every little thing. Down to when Jessica's, you know, doing the voice recording at the very start, she explains, you know, this is a one-party consent state. So it is okay for her to be doing this.
That's great. Like, the themes are so perfectly knit in this series.
Yeah.
Like, it's all so tightly bound. It's fantastic. All right, I will see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.